Your host, Josh Appleman, founder and CEO of Appleman Properties. We're joined today by Tate Siemer, CEO of GreenLight Equity Group, a visionary and apartment building investment with
Hey, Josh.
500. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, man. Your mic is up here. I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Right
Oh, you're
here.
using that mic. Sorry. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were
Yeah.
using your headset, and you sound like you're kind of far away, but
Is it
uh,
echoing?
you might want to just bring that mic a little bit
Okay.
closer to you.
Right there.
Yeah, something like that. So
Okay,
it just
cool.
sounds like you're in a big room. But
Got
sorry to
it.
interrupt you. I'm
Yeah,
sure you can start over.
I'm in my office here, so I think it does echo a little bit, but yeah,
Cool.
so we've got you've got 595 units valued at 55.5 million. You're passionate about improving communities and residents and investors. Tate hosts the Apartment Guys podcast and podcast and mentors entrepreneurs. In his free time, he enjoys skiing, mountains, and biking and camping with his dog. Tate, we're excited to have you here. If you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, Josh, it's a great honor to get to spend this time with you and be on your show and talk to your listeners. Hope I can add lots of value here today and some inspiration for your listeners and each individual that's tuning in. So, yeah, we were talking a little bit before we started the recording. I'm actually originally from where you are, basically in the world. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and you're in northern Kentucky, just across the river. And I grew up in kind of a upper middle class suburb of Cincinnati. Went to an all guys private high school, and then went to college in Ohio, and got out of college. I had a degree in psychology and didn't have much direction and didn't really have a vision for what I wanted to do with life at all. So I just got some miscellaneous sales jobs in Cincinnati and did that for a couple of years, and then just decided to kind of cut loose and do something cool and fun with my life. And I moved out west to Utah in 1999 to chase the snow and ski. That was my only motivation at that point in life. And I skied a little bit in junior high and high school and just fell in love with it. And so I've been here for 23 and a half years, I guess, in Utah skiing. And I became a ski photographer right away when I moved out here. I was a photographer by trade growing up, and I had a dark room in my house and knew a lot about photography. So became an action ski photographer, and then wedding and portrait photographer as well. And started my own business doing that. That was my first real taste of being an entrepreneur, and loved it. Loved being my own boss. Loved owning a business, right? And then in 2006, I kind of was looking for some lifestyle expansion, like income and wealth building, and got into some real estate, a real estate investing course, real basic entry level stuff, and started flipping single family houses in Utah, Salt Lake City, and did that for a few years. Then the crash happened, went back to photography for a while. And then in 2011, my current partner, Carl York, he and I co-founded a company called Olympus Development. And we flipped single family houses in Salt Lake County here in Utah, and did that hard and heavy for 6-7 years, like nothing but single family flips. And while we were doing that, we really hit a wall as far as scalability and leverage. Just couldn't break past a certain revenue and income level. So we started seeking out other types of projects. We got into some development, and so even some new build. We built some luxury townhomes in downtown Salt Lake City, and those didn't go very well, by the way. They were kind of our worst projects ever. Wow. And then we had an apartment community here in Salt Lake literally basically fall in our lap. We had a wholesaler bring it to us, little 12-unit community that needed a entire renovation. It was half vacant. The other half weren't paying rents. They were month to month. So we basically vacated the building, brought in a construction crew, and did a head to toe massive remodel on it. And did everything from the membrane roof to the 95% mechanicals, new flooring, new windows, just new solid surface countertops. And we were able to literally double the rents that place was getting, and sold it and did very well. This was like 2018, 2019.
Nice.
And it was very eye-opening to us, the whole exercise from the very beginning, before we even bought it, like underwriting that deal and getting our heads around the mechanics and the economics of that deal was extremely enlightening. And we saw the power of rental real estate, like income producing real estate, and the power of valuation based on your net operating income, the power of leverage, et cetera. And we basically have been all about multifamily ever since. Have not done any other single family projects. We got into, our next project was a 20 unit building here in Utah. And that also went very well. It was a head to toe remodel. And then I got into a coaching mastermind with the big kahuna, Corey Peterson out of Phoenix. Some of you may have heard of him or seen him speak or read his books, but he really gave us what we needed to go after the bigger asset class, bigger unit count asset class, right? So we started acquiring at the end of 2020. And in 2021, we bought 6 different communities, I think about 540 doors at that point.
Wow.
And then we bought another community in 2022, and then 2022 got weird with interest rates, and we had a deal that didn't work out. It was a $27 million acquisition that we were working on, and it kind of fell apart due to the banking and interest rate hikes and the implications on equity. But currently we're at 595 doors, 7 different communities. We own 4 in Columbus, Ohio, and 3 in Oklahoma City. We're currently buying a value add in Lawton, Oklahoma, and I'm waiting on an LOI signature on an 86 unit in Columbus. It's Class A converted warehouse to loft.
Nice
project, just gorgeous project. So that's really what GreenLight's up to. And then I have 2 other kind of primary things going on. One is I host the Apartment Gurus podcast. It's 3 years old and going on 200 episodes here, and love doing it. And then I have a coaching mastermind group that is a small intense masterminding group that's really granular and gets really moving the needle for clients and participants and getting them from wherever they are, like a lot of cases, square one, right, to their first big deal in real estate. And I'm there every step of the way to help them with everything from deal sourcing to underwriting to branding to mindset stuff, like just soup to nuts approach. And absolutely love doing that. I love helping other people and uplifting other people and bringing other people along for the ride. So yeah, Josh, that's kind of a nutshell version of
that's a lot
what's going on, man.
It's good. And I like your background with going to a single family, learning the construction components, and then utilizing that knowledge ultimately over to a value add apartment community. I'd say that was that you can use on almost every project, just knowing what to look for, what not to look for. And then your growth just accelerating from single family to almost 600 doors. What would you say is most important to your growth?
Mindset. Yeah. I think mindset is 80 to 90% of the game. And by that, this might be oversimplifying a little bit, but I mean that if you truly believe deep down at your core that you are resourceful enough, hardworking enough, persistent enough, and well-resourced enough to do this business, and you're not going to quit until you do, there's literally nothing that will stop you. Like you are bound to success. On the flip side, if you have limiting beliefs, either conscious or unconscious limiting beliefs that basically are something along the lines of, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, I don't know enough people, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. It is about impossible to get around those and be successful. And so one of the things that I do with my coaching clients right out of the gate is we just basically get all the limiting beliefs out on the table and deal with them. And I have a special process called the enlightened beliefs exercise, where we kind of flip the limiting beliefs on their head. But we basically are clearing the deck for success when we do that. And everybody's got limiting beliefs especially when you're looking at like leveling up in life. There's always going to be stuff that will come up to challenge whether or not you can actually do that.
Yeah.
And we're just wired that way for some reason. We've just got this, I think it's the amygdala that is the flight or fight kind of protective part of our brains. And, we just don't like that part of our brain doesn't like taking risks. Yeah. So anytime that there's something new on the plate that we're trying that's out of our comfort zone, our limiting beliefs come up. And so like I said, if you are unstoppable and you truly believe that you can do it, and you're not going to quit, and you're going to work a process, ideally with a coach or a mentor, then you will succeed in this space. I'm totally confident of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when you start to see something you don't fully understand, like even underwriting for multifamily, it's so much at first, and it takes time to connect the dots. But I think that people just shy away or look the other way instead of continuing down the path, because it's just overwhelming and overburdened, and then it just, there's an insecurity to where you just don't get to where you want to go, because whether it's scared of failure or thinking that you can't learn a certain thing over because it looks much larger at that time. But limiting beliefs are 100% that's everything, and that little voice inside your head keeps telling you to go the opposite direction.
Yeah, and if you can master that and integrate it, right, and like use your limiting beliefs to actually propel you forward, which is possible, you're going to be a massive success. And that's, to me, that's the game. Like the other 10%, 15%, 20% is logistical process, systems and processes stuff, and relationships, and we of course work very, very hard on that stuff. But the biggest thing is your mindset really will determine your course. Yeah, and the more you learn, the more confident you become, and it keeps on. One chases the other, and that's why that first deal is so important, Josh. Is because, like you just said, the more you do, the more confident you get, and getting the first deal done is something that all of us have to do. We all go through it. It's the hardest deal you'll ever do. And it's the most important deal you'll ever do, because once you get it done, your confidence comes up, your visibility in the market comes up, things start to get easier. You start to get powerful around your capital raising gets easier. You got a track record, you attract partners, you attract investors more easily, and you attract broker leads and properties more easily once that first deal's done. So Michael Blanc has it right, the law of the first deal. Yeah. It's so key. It's so key to not quit when you're doing that first one.
Yeah, and that kind of segues into the next question I had, as far as lessons that you've learned from failures, because without failures, you really don't. You've got to learn along the way, and failures can catapult you to your success. Yeah. What have you learned from failures along the way?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is that in one way or another, things always work out in the end. I mentioned the townhomes that we built about 4 or 5 years ago in Salt Lake City. They were beautiful, huge luxury townhomes, modern floor to ceiling windows, high ceilings, just gorgeous product. But the economics of the deal just were not good, and we lost money on them. That was due to a number of mistakes that we made. And the most fatal of which was the builder that we hired needed to be more properly vetted. And at the end of the day, that was not the right fit for that project. And really was a very, very tough error to get past and rectify. So, but so those were new builds, and they should have taken a year to build. They ended up taking over 2 years to build. And we knew at about the year point that we were in trouble and we weren't going to likely make money due to a lot of things that had gone sideways. We had to fire the builder. We got into legal stuff.
Got it.
And I just remember at the time going, you know what, we're going to have to show up for another year, work our butts off, because we were doing a lot of the GC stuff ourselves. And we're not going to make money. In fact, we're going to lose money at the end of this deal. And that's a dark place to be, to know that you got to scramble to lose at the end of the day. And we were so far away from the finish line at that point that it was even darker. So the light at the end of the tunnel just didn't exist, quite frankly. And I just remember basically having to go on faith that things would work out at the end of the day. And by faith, I don't necessarily mean like a religious faith, although if that works for you and it resonates, that's great. For me, it's more of just a faith in the nature of life and in the nature of my life in particular, that at the end of the day, things have always worked out. I'm still here. I'm happy. I'm healthy. And with the challenges that I've dealt with over the years, they've worked out in the end. So, that was really the biggest lesson, was exercising the faith muscle and really leaning into that, really relying on that muscle. And that got me through. And, as hard and challenging as that set of circumstances were, it's a muscle that I have now that I didn't really have before, that will serve me well for the rest of my life. So that's what's called failing forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as entrepreneurs, you're always dealing with a multitude of issues coming in from different angles at any given time. And it's growth. And it's like what you just said, a muscle. You build a muscle to be able to manage issues with what others would see as stressful. You handle that, and you don't let others necessarily see it, but things are being done behind the scenes. And when you're a business owner, there's always constantly issues to deal with, no matter what. It's not just looking straight; you're looking in different directions. Yeah. Use the adage, "This too shall pass," because ultimately, it's not going to be something I'm going to be dealing with, hopefully, within the next couple weeks, couple months, or couple days. Just things come up, and it's being able to handle those issues and resolve them and move forward and grow and expand. I got sun coming in at my top windows here, so that's why I keep moving this camera. Apologize. What are the do's and don'ts of partnership? Because I know you've got a ton of experience with partnership and finding the right partners and lessons learned. What would you say do's and don'ts are?
Yeah. So my coaching to my clients on partnerships is to absolutely partner on a deal by deal basis with people, and essentially use those deals to build relationships and build long-term relationships, long game relationships that will serve you on a deal by deal, deal to deal to deal, right? Eventually, organically, one of those or two of those or three of those might turn into long-term partnerships where you guys are partnering up on your business. I would really, really strongly consider not partnering up permanently with a partner in your business until that happens, until there's a really natural good fit, because partnerships are like marriages. Yeah. They're a lot of work. There's always issues. There's always tough communication that needs to happen. And I have a wonderful partner that I love dearly, and I've known him since I moved here in 99, and we're best friends. And it's work, man. Like we're as natural a fit as I think you can get, and yet we still have to really work on our partnership and on our company and on our roles and responsibilities. So my advice is that this is very much a team sport. And so you need to be networking and partnering with people on a deal by deal basis, right?
Yeah.
That's really how things get done in this space. And but I would hesitate to start building your internal team on a partnership level. You can hire people, that's great. But when you're starting out, give yourself some time, give yourself a handful of deals at least to work with other people and find the natural fit in a partner.
Yeah. Yeah. And a partner that maybe complements your weaknesses or things that if you know what you don't know, that helps out a ton. That way you can kind of go out there and find somebody who can fill the gap.
And on that, Josh, like this speaks, what you just said speaks to knowing yourself, right? Knowing your superpowers, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what you really love about this business and what you love to do inside of this business, and doubling down on that stuff and really like giving your energy and time and commitment to developing those parts of yourself and your business, and then outsourcing a lot or all of the rest of it to a partner, to an employee, to a third party, whatever that looks like. Like the times that as entrepreneurs that we get hung up and frustrated and kind of dragged into the morass is when we're doing stuff that we don't like to do and are not good at.
Yeah.
And that can be fatal at the end of the day if you have too much of that going on.
Yeah, we ultimately end up putting it off, procrastinating, just not do it. And if you've got someone picking those pieces up, that's a catapult to success too.
Yeah.
What is the essential component of success in multifamily investing?
Well, I think we already kind of hit on that with mindset. I think that, again, that dictates so much. It dictates your activity set. It dictates your all the actions that you take. It dictates how you take those actions. And then I would say that mindset piece is number one. And then number two is just being really good at establishing and nurturing relationships. This is a relational space. It's not a transactional space. So single family investing is transactional. Like you're dealing with people on a one-off basis. You'll probably never talk to them or see them again in a lot of cases. Whereas in multifamily, you want to be doing deal after deal after deal with the same people, the same broker, the same investors, the same partners, the same lenders, same property managers. And that's the long game, right? Yeah. So people first in this business, like put your relationships first, and everything else should work and fall into place if you're doing that part of it really well. And maybe not fall into place, but it's going to really move the needle for you in the right direction in terms of opportunity when you have long game relationships that are in place.
Yep, I totally agree. What advice would you give someone who's looking to invest in real estate for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is hire a coach, get a paid coach or a paid mentor. And the reason I say that is because you will shorten your timeline. You know, what would normally take you 2 to 3, 4, 5 years to accomplish on your own with lots of mistakes in the middle, will shorten if you hire a really good paid coach or a paid mentor, or you're in a really good small mastermind. You will condense that timeline to months, 3, 6, 9 months to get that first deal done, and maybe the second and third deal too. So that's really the best thing you can do. Like if somebody came to me and said, Tate, I have $25,000. I want to get into real estate investing. My advice would be use that $25,000 for education and mentorship. And because you can do this business without any of your own money, right? And that's one of the things that attracts people to it. So
sorry about the sun coming in. It's got to be the time of day that that we're having
no
this.
worries, man.
But mentorship is absolutely paramount. I can't agree more. It's going to save you from the massive burns that this industry can put on you as far as a monetary loss, mental loss. It's just mentorship, having someone over your shoulder looking at even underwriting and understanding different dots that need to be connected is huge. No, that's perfect. Tate, what if somebody wants to get a hold of you, get in your mastermind, or just get more information on your company? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, best way is to go to investwithgreenlight.com. And you can reach me through that. There's contact form, and basically the mastermind is when will this be airing, Josh? Just curious.
Within the next couple of days. So we'll have your contact information in there as well.
Perfect. So so the mastermind is only open for about another week. And so we're talking the end of the month, essentially end of March. And then we'll be closing admittance to that until the next quarter. It'll open up every quarter. So if you want to get into a small, intimate, powerful mastermind where everybody is, intimately involved with each other's success and is led by a coach, powerful coach, mentor, which would be me in this case. This might be a great opportunity for you. I am very selective about who I let in. You don't have to have experience in real estate or multifamily, but I need to see kind of the raw stuff that I know that it takes to be successful. And so, but if you think you've got that and you think you're up for it, this will change your life. It will absolutely change every part of your life, to really put your skin in the game and transform your professional life, your career, your business, and that time freedom, money freedom, and geographic freedom. Right? That's what it's all about.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tate, we truly appreciate your time today. Look forward to talking to you here in the future, and appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. It was great, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks again. Bye.